Good morning, Mr. TK.
Welcome,
Look at
welcome.
you. Red
Do we have
shirt.
health insurance on this show? Is there? Did we sign up for the health insurance plan? Remember that email I sent you?
Um, it seems to me, based on public sentiment, that even if we did have any kind of coverage, it'd be fairly useless. So why? What are you getting
Well, I
at,
just
sir?
thought, maybe my union or my labor rights activists would be giving me the day off or something like that today. You know,
Do you have a union? Like,
well, I think somebody would stick up for me and say, TK, if you got a cold, you can sit out this week, and we'll pick it up again next week. But
for the
I don't
show?
know.
For the
For
show
the
or
show, yeah, I got
for real estate?
for everything, for life itself. I don't
You
want
just
to
want to you want an off button today?
off button. Couple days, yeah,
Couple
but
day
I'll
off
survive.
button?
I'll survive.
Is this more because you want to excel this weekend at your tournament or because you're just burnt out from working super hard
Just having
lately?
a cold. It's a man cold, right? These man colds, they're
Man
not.
cold.
They're serious. They're serious business, Daryl. Right?
They can take you down
Seriously, it
if you're
plays with your
not.
mind. Tells you tells you that you can't do things that you do every single day. No problems. You know,
My wife seems to think that I'm a little bit of a baby when I have a cold.
shovel the driveway. What? I got a cold right now.
I don't seem to yeah, I don't have an off button.
Right? Me
I'd
neither,
love an
man. Go,
off
go,
button.
go. I just might
You,
stay home a little bit more when I have a cold. I'll see less people.
you couldn't tell the difference. I'm home all the time.
There you go.
Although this week I have felt a little bit like not really wanting to do anything.
hmm
A little
It
lazy. I feel like it's been a lot of work lately, and like this week I just wanted to relax. But I mean,
we got
nobody would allow me to.
we got snow this week, and
That's a
you
real
know,
pisser, right?
it really
Snow.
kind of changes everything, right? You kind of go like, all right, now this is like,
Ah,
I don't know if it's holiday season or if I have to start planning for the winter. I need to start looking about vacation options. Uh, you know, all those little things that I was supposed to do this summer, spring, summer, fall that I didn't do. Now they're going to be pushed till next year.
I just constantly wonder why I live here when this happens. Like it's
No,
like,
it's
oh,
fine. I
I
love the
have to
snow.
take that
I
snow
start
off
planning
my
snowboarding,
car,
skating, all that good stuff.
all that good
Speaking
stuff.
about cold as ice, Tiff Macklem was in the news this week,
There's a
uh, talking
segue and a half.
talking about their plans, the Bank of Canada's plans on raising rates. Now, this was before the inflation numbers came out, but he was basically saying, like, look, the inflation numbers aren't where we want to see them, and that we're going to have
Uh,
to continue to raise rates, and that people need to bear down.
yeah.
Shares in Kraft Dinner went through the roof right after that announcement. Everyone was just buying it up.
But people are angry that the oil companies are recording record profits while inflation is soaring. And guess what's a huge component of this inflation number that's soaring?
Gas.
Gas, oil, right?
Mhm.
Like all these,
Petroleum
but like,
products.
so it seems a little unfair to me that like we all need it, but there's no other option. And yet,
Well, what he was saying was it seems counterintuitive that raising rates when the price of everything else is going up. Like, it seems like what are you doing here? Why is this happening? Because he's
are
talking
you
to the
driving
layman,
into a
right?
skid? Are they steering into the skid or out of the skid? Like what's going on here? Because you kind of have to raise rates. Everybody's mental still. People
But
are still
people don't
crying.
understand that, and they're feeling the pressure right now, and that's the thing.
They're
They're trying to
starting
find a
to,
way.
right?
They're trying to find a way to be able to make ends meet and to be able to pay their bills. And so when they hear that these interest rates are going up, they're saying, "Why are they doing this?" And it's because we want those prices to come back down. And whether anybody's got their theories out there on how inflation works or what monetary policy does, and the effects that it has, if you can get people to stop spending money, it is going to be deflationary and prices will start to come down, and we'll have more affordable goods to be able to purchase. I mean, that's just at the end of the day how it works. And the Bank of Canada governor You know, even though everyone thinks that they've got an opinion and they know how to do it better. I mean, he's been working with the Bank of Canada for like 30 years or more. You know, he remembers what it was like when the last major downturn was in recession with high inflation and everything else from the late 80s and early 90s. He's the best guy for the job, whether we like it or not. You don't like that? You don't like
I
that
think,
statement, Darryl?
well, I don't know if I if I could choose like it or not, I'm going to choose not. I'm going
Okay,
to
that's
say
okay.
that working there for 30 years or being part of things for 30 years doesn't necessarily mean anything, it seems to me. Um, it's got to be different. Like every time is different, but like we definitely need people to slow down with their spending, or inflation will continue to at
Mm-hmm.
least stick where it's at right now, right?
Why is everybody buying lettuce?
But
Like,
I
like lay
know,
off the lettuce, guys.
stop
Come on.
paying.
I
But
went to the
sometimes you
restaurant the
can't
other day
even
and ordered
get
a
it.
salad and they just gave me a bunch of creams whipped together with some chopped tomatoes,
Did
you know?
did you see? Somebody posted something on Twitter that said like there's no lettuce in any of the sandwiches today because we
Yeah.
couldn't get any lettuce.
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter, but that made its way to I think Instagram or something.
It
Yeah.
probably made its way around everywhere, but like
Yeah.
this is kind of crazy that you can't get lettuce,
Yeah. I
right?
really did
But
order a salad that it said it was a salad. It was something else. I don't think it was a salad, but I thought I was ordering a salad and there was no lettuce involved in this salad.
I
You know?
like salad without
It
lettuce,
was
to
really
be
good
honest with
actually.
you.
It
But
was called the
like
Med Bowl and it was at the Cactus Club Cafe or whatever it's
I,
called at Sherway Gardens.
but you see, like a cucumber used to be like not $2.50,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
mangoes are like the price of things is just insane. And people, I mean, how does inflation not go up when food prices continue to go up and you have to buy that food? It's like, what do you
Mm.
do? So you do, okay, we're not going to buy organic anymore, right? And
Mm.
so, but now your
I'm gonna
bill's
go
still
shop at
higher
No
than it used to
Frills
be,
instead of Longos or
right?
whatever.
But
Yeah.
your bill's still more than it used to be. It's just less than it was like when you were organic last week, right?
Yeah. I think it's about just like justifying it, right? It's like justifying buying that, car or justifying buying that vacation or something like that. You know, at the end of the day, it's something that you're going to do anyways, but people will downgrade their decisions. And I think that that's what quantitative tightening and all these monetary policies are doing is it's putting a lot of pressure on people. Everybody's bills are more now. I'm talking everybody I talk to
Everybody.
has got the same issues right now. And so many more people are on variable rates than I would have ever dreamed of.
Oh my
There's
God.
like people are like coming to me or people are saying to me, like I was talking to a client and she said, I think she bought like a year or two ago. And I said, well, don't worry, you bought at a good time, rates were good. She's like, no, she's like, I went with variable. Ah. And it's like,
Variable.
I'm like,
Fuck.
oh shit, why did I say that?
Why did I say that?
Yeah. So
Oh,
it's the way
dread
it
it.
is. Yeah,
Listen,
it's the way it
people,
is.
there's some people getting creamed out there for talking about variable. But listen, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, TK.
Sorry.
I think it made a
My second
difference
cup of tea.
last time. I think it made a difference last time, TK, if we asked the people out there to subscribe to the channel.
Mm.
So please do us a favor. It helps. We would
Live
love
from
it.
Vancouver. It's Canadian Real Estate Show. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Right now.
All about
And
Vancouver real estate today.
And
Everything.
speaking of Vancouver, we
Mm-hmm.
have a special reason for you to comment. We're going to
Yeah.
have Mr. Steve Soretsky on the show next week,
Yep.
and he's going to help us announce the winner of our contest, right, TK?
Looney Hour, December 1st. We are bringing one lucky subscriber with us to the show to talk all about real estate and hear what those smart gentlemen have to say. It's at the Hockey Hall of Fame, downtown Toronto. We will meet you down there. We've got the tickets. We'll make all the arrangements. Drop a comment in this video or another video. But there was comments from before, so don't worry if you've already done it once. But why not do it again? Hey, there's unlimited amount of entries into this contest. And we may
Absolutely.
base the decision on who wins on who had the funniest comment. You know what? We're
I
gonna just
tend to
we're
I
gonna
tend to
mix it up
think we
here.
will.
But I
I
think the
tend to
funniest
think we
comment
will.
may get the winner, but there will be some runner ups as well. So please drop a comment if you want to join Darryl and I at the Looney Hour live event, December 1st at the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yes, and don't forget to hit that bell and remind yourself to watch Steve Suretsky on the show next week. Big guest. I'm
Absolutely.
very excited for that. That's going to be pretty
Absolutely.
cool. And I don't know if you already saw it by now, but if you didn't, TK, we had a good time on the Tom Story show. So if you
Yep. This morning aired a beautiful podcast with beautiful people. Tom
beautiful
Story
people,
Show, Steve Karish, Darryl, and myself. And we got down to business, we got down to business. Go
we had a
check out
good
that
time.
channel, like,
Go check
comment, and
out that
subscribe for them
channel.
too, and check out the podcast that we did.
Yeah, in case you aren't getting enough TK and Darryl, then add that into the
I think
mix.
it's a different angle, like literally a different angle because the cameras are facing a different direction.
Different
But I
angle.
think it's also a different angle when we're not the, host of the show.
Very different. I had a
Definitely.
lot of
So
fun
you'll get to know us a little bit in a different way.
in a different way. So check that out. So yeah, anyways, so a lot of stuff going on the market, in the market. Immigration though. Okay, so let's
But can
talk
we
about,
finish the other topic first? Because then we
well,
can.
I do. I want to add to it. So
Okay.
how do you have inflation come down when major components, food
Mhm.
and energy, which are
Food is
both,
slowing down now,
but
but you're
they're
right. Yep.
both under fire for record profits over the last few years, right? While people
Yeah.
were dying and needing handouts, like these guys are profiteering, which in a capitalistic society is all fun and games and fair. But I mean, guess
Hmm.
what? It's not really a capitalistic society here in Canada anymore. So, anyways, enough about that. But what about when you throw 500,000 people into the mix? Like, there's only so much to go around, TK. There's only so much lettuce, right? And if you add another 100,000, 200,000 people that might want some lettuce, right? Or may want to live somewhere potentially. I mean, we are seeing a lot of tent cities, TK, a lot of tent cities. But I mean, I see a lot of upward pressure on inflation coming down the pipe. And I mean, other than interest rates, which don't, I mean, we've seen 400 basis points. I mean, when are they going to start kicking in and really making a difference here when we have all these other pressures? TK, tell me I'm wrong. Where am I wrong?
In theory, that is the way. Like, one, you're assuming that they're going to hit their immigration targets.
I heard that they already blew way past the 400 something this year.
But you're assuming that they're going to reach those immigration targets. That's the one part of it, right? And remember where a lot of those 400,000 people came from. They were living in, I'll try to name a neighborhood that doesn't sound too offensive. They're living in Ajax. They were
What?
living in Roncesvalles.
They
Like they were already
immigrated to
here.
Canada? Okay.
They were already here, right? And
All,
so,
okay.
okay, so I understand that, right? So that's one big part. So are they going to bring in 500,000 people? Like, yeah, it sounds really good. And it's like, oh wow, this is fantastic. And yeah, rah rah rah, we're going to do it. We're going to save the economy. We're going to create more jobs. We're going to, find a way to be able to have people come and buy your home, Mr. Home Seller, because you're mad at us because the market's going down and it's now time for you to retire and you voted us in. So here you go. Here's our options. You're going to be saved. Okay.
Well,
Let's
I
see if
don't
that
think that's
happens.
what I'm saying.
But that's one part of it. That's the
Okay.
first part of it. Okay. The second part
Well,
will be,
bodies needing to live
yeah.
places and
So
needing lettuce is a
the second,
thing,
the
right?
second, the second part is we keep
Yeah.
talking about one of the issues on restrictive, supply and all that kind of stuff is because of the labor force,
Yeah.
right?
That's a
So
big pro.
I'm not saying that immigration is going to add to available cheap labor in retail services and trades, but I would pretty much bet safely that it will. I don't have the data on that, but I can imagine that the people coming in are going to be the ones who are willing to work those retail service jobs, be able to keep businesses open longer, that they're going to be willing to swing a hammer to be able to build more properties, right? And so you can't argue on one hand and say that the immigration is going to be inflationary, and at the same time, creating more supply will be deflationary because one has to come with the other. So it's kind of like we need the labor to be able to build the housing. We need to build the housing in order to be able to maintain the inflationary pressures on that sector. So it's
Right.
like there is a way for me to understand this, which I'm not the guy to ask, but there is a way for me to be
You're all I
positive.
got today.
I know, but I'm the optimist, and I'm like, you know what? There is a way out of this that bringing in more people is going to be able to create a more healthy environment that they can still get inflation under control. Absolutely.
Right. But they don't only put pressure on the housing system. They put pressure on the passport system and the driving system and all the other systems and the airport systems. And I mean, people want to say that this is a world-class city, and then you have people that really stomp it out. And I mean, until I went to Mexico recently and saw how much nicer their airport was in Cancun than ours here in Toronto, I started to think, like, how world class can you be when your airport is like just a
I think we have an
pilot?
amazing airport. It's just a nightmare when it comes to the processes that they have. But I mean, as far as the airport itself, it's a
It's
beautiful
just
airport.
very plain. It's like, this is your first time you come to Canada. It's like, this thing should be amazing. You should
I think
come
it's
to
amazing.
Canada and be amazed. And you come to
I think it's
Canada and
amazing.
it's like,
Taxpayers
oh
don't
my
want it to be amazing.
God. No,
You know,
taxpayers
taxpayers do
don't.
not want that airport to be any more than what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I'm saying that immigration is the answer. I'm saying it's part of the stew here that
But you,
has to be sorted out. I mean, look, it's got upward pressure and downward pressure, but the housing market's not the economy, right? So it's like, why are we paying so much more for energy when it's mainly going into the profit column, right? Like, why is food and energy and necessities, why are those things not fixed to something
Mhm.
affordable, right? And why are we like, why don't we say, hey, you know what, like, each person really only needs this many square feet, so a house for 4 people really should be like 2,800 square feet or something instead of 5,500, right? Because it's on this monster lot. Like, why doesn't that lot get
Mhm.
chopped into two and make 2,800 square foot houses?
Wasn't that interesting what Steve shared with us about like these restrictive covenants in neighborhoods in BC that said, look, you can't build monster houses in these areas?
Yeah, but they also did some stupid stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's just all over the place. It just seems to me that it's like there's some solutions here. I mean, even this Bill 23, I mean, is under all kinds of fire, and they're getting killed with this thing where Ford's trying to introduce all this new legislation to, speed, like, it seemed on the surface like it was to speed up production of housing, but
Mhm.
people are making it seem a lot more like a cash grab than anything else, at least at the moment.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, I've spoken to some pretty important and high up there people, and paid for some consultants' time that are pretty high up there. And I mean, I think this bill is kind of a nothing burger, or maybe on the border of nothing burger.
How many bills have been a something burger in the last little while? Right? Non-resident speculation tax, 25%.
Oh, and there's
We're gonna
that now
increase it.
too. Now
We're
they've
gonna increase
added
it.
this. Now they add
Anti-flipping. You're gonna get
anti-flipping
more
tax.
tax.
More tax is
More
always the
taxes.
answer.
Stop flipping
Meanwhile,
houses.
meanwhile, they increase interest rates and blow the
Mhm.
market up, and now all of their tax revenue from land transfer tax is like literally disintegrated, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
like
Like
gone.
seriously, the flippers right now would be saving the market, right? If they reversed it.
The
If they said,
buyers.
look,
Well,
no tax. You flip a house, keep all the profits.
it's all very confusing.
You
Like, and
know?
then they announce that they're giving everybody like free dental or something, right? And that they're giving renters money. Like, here,
Yeah.
just here you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Here's some help.
Inflation support.
Inflation relief that creates more inflation.
Yeah.
And I mean, who's out there that's like doesn't realize that that's putting pressure on inflation again,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's so many crazy things going on. And it's like, how is this going to end? Or is it just like, do we have to get used to like 6% inflation for a while,
I
and
think it's like
crazy high interest rates for a while?
it's the greatest test tube economy ever. And like there was other things happening. I remember in the 70s, not I remember, but hearing about in the 70s, like speculation taxes and things like that. Like the government was they're trying to use government policy in order to be able to control the markets, right? and they just would introduce policy, and then they'd, remove policy, and then they would say, okay, here you go. We're going to try this now. We're going to try that. And it's out of desperation. So a lot of these, it's a given, are going to be, thrown by the wayside in a matter of time. And, some of them might stick, and that's what it is. It's just, they're playing with all the different options. So we were talking about it on the show. If you guys go watch that, BC is like the guinea pig, right? Like BC, they get to go, and like
Petri dish.
there seems to be right. Yeah, they're the ones that have I won't use that term, but they have all the exponential issues that we do in Ontario, and so they have to come up with some really creative ways to be able to solve these problems. And then we look at what worked for them and what didn't work for them, and of course we try to implement it. Vacant
Yeah.
home tax is something that is,
when we see it doesn't work there, we implement it here as well.
But I'm sure there's some numbers on it that it's generated, because remember, there's so many reports and studies that they have to put forward, and committees and bodies that they have to actually employ to make this work. So I'm sure there's a study that says it is like net profitable. Like, I'm sure it doesn't do anything for what they're saying, but they're like, this will put in an extra 10 million in our accounts every year based on the 60 million of expenses that we have, right? So they've probably got a study that shows that it's not like a net loss. But
right.
definitely not like creating any more supply. Like, it doesn't help the problem that they're claiming it will.
I would be interested to know how many laneway suites and garden suites are being applied for now.
Well, we heard that 60 were applied for the day that the appeal was lifted, and I have talked to other people about it, and so I know that there are people
I know
interested
you're
in garden
thinking
suites.
about it, and I know my buddy Ben is like building one right now.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a great solution, but it's not the solution. And we've talked about this so many times. There's not going to be a one size fits all policy that's going to just cure everybody here, including raising interest rates,
I'll make it.
including
I'll make
okay,
it. I'll
but
make the policy.
including rate hikes. It's just the only tool that the Bank of Canada has. So it's like, you've got to look at all these different areas, and everybody's got to work together. And the problem is the people have to work on this, because we're all sitting here in our chair, Darryl. What have you done today to fight inflation, Darryl? What have you done?
I do
Tell
today
me.
to fight inflation?
Yeah.
I didn't go to Tim Hortons. I had a little Keurig pod.
All right. Fair
I fought
enough.
inflation. I fought the law.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the Darryl won.
Yep.
No, but
You're doing good. You're doing your part.
I probably add to inflation more than I take from it.
Because you're just out there buying stuff.
Well, I mean,
I was walking behind you the other day, and money was just falling out of your pocket. Like, it was just like confetti. It's like a Mexican kid's birthday party.
I mean, you need things sometimes, TK. You need things. There's a lot of things available right now.
Okay.
There's
Are
a
they
lot
like
of
things that you really need, though?
I don't know. I'm finding I need a lot lately.
I'm hunkering down in my head. In my head, I am like preparing for like Armageddon, like the war, like, like that missile that landed in Poland, like I'm preparing for this to be like World War III. And it's like, I'm making sure, but somehow the money just keeps coming out of the account. It just keeps buying stuff, without my permission almost, now Christmas is coming. Now like winter's coming. So it's like, okay, I want to go on a vacation. Right.
This is what happens.
Yeah. Investments are presenting themselves. Some of them are not bad.
Things are, I feel like things are like really heating up. Like, I have not been this busy for a long time. The problem is like, I'm looking at a lot of deals, and a lot of them are really shitty. Like, they're really bad deals. And so it's really hard to get a fix on things. And
there's a gap.
Well, just people are putting stuff out for just outrageous prices right now. Like, outrageous. And like stuff I'm working on, where in my head I'm thinking the price should come down. I mean, I've been working on it for a while, and the market's not getting any better, but if I get a sign back, it's like for this like way more than we even talked about. It's like, yeah, we were thinking about it, and this is our number now.
Yeah. The commercial multifamily space, that's my most frustrating space right now. right? Because every buyer that I'm working with and seller are just on two totally different pages. And if you look at where interest rates were, right? So you've got like a 3% commercial rate at one point. That was like what you could get at the bank, a 3% commercial rate. And so cap rates were, depending on where, like 2 to 3%, right? So you're slightly above. Well, now those commercial rates are 6.5%. So
But
they've
the
gone up three
caps
and
are
a
still
half. So
2%.
so you should expect that the caps would be at 5.5, 6%, something like that,
They need
right?
to be.
They
Yeah.
need to be, and they're not.
They're not.
They're
Well,
not.
not in multifamily. Not,
They're
no.
not. No, nowhere. Like even like the worst towns in Ontario, they're still not there yet.
I'm actually
No.
looking, not multifamily, but I kind of
Hmm.
decided recently to change some of the stuff that I'm looking at because, like, to put together a assembly, uh, an expensive assembly right now, where
Hmm.
you're paying like double the value of property,
Hmm.
um, it's super hard to finance, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Super hard to finance.
Yeah.
And I think that there's better, easier plays right now with less competition out there, right?
Explain. Tell us. Oh, wait. Tell me after.
Well, I mean, I can say it, but like industrial or some kind of commercial use that has development potential, but is being sold on a cap and a healthy cap at that,
Hmm.
um, seems to make a lot of sense to me right now. I mean, if you can make it make sense on a cap play and you have all this future potential,
Yeah. Like,
um,
come
it
look at my
seems
site in
like
Oshawa.
I've looked
Look
at
at
your
that one.
site in Oshawa,
Yeah.
but maybe I need to relook at it.
I think it's a good site.
Maybe, but they're
Yeah.
selling it as a development site. This is the
No, they're not.
problem.
They're
They're not.
selling it. No, cap rate.
Yeah, so that's good. What's
What's
the
the cap
cap?
rate? What
We
cap
need
rate you
to.
want to pay?
I want to pay eight cap. Eight cap.
Well, put it down on paper. Let's talk. Right?
Let me look at it. But
Yep.
in all seriousness, like if you can find something that uh, is easy, like as of right, to add on to, right?
Hmm.
Or just has some upside in rents already, or
Hmm.
ideally a combination of both. Um,
I
but
just
in
think
an
that gap is too big right now. Where sellers' expectations are, especially in those commercial properties,
we
and
found
where
a
buyers
couple.
are because of how influenced they are on rates. When it's commercial financing, the rate is like the biggest thing because it's at the end of the day what the asset is able to cover, right? The debt coverage ratio.
Well,
Whereas
that
on
just makes it
residential,
way easier to finance now, is if it has like a strong income because it's got a strong
it
cap, then you
it
can
will
actually
if it
finance
will
it.
if it's at the right price, right? And if the debt coverage ratio is there.
Well, then it
But
wouldn't be a good cap.
well, that's my point. And the
Yeah.
sellers don't want to accept a good cap right now.
I
So
found a
at
couple.
least
I'm
at
very
least on
excited actually about a couple that I found.
the residential
Hopefully,
side, it's people's
yeah.
incomes that are paying for this. So there are still, so there's people who are out there. Maybe the sellers aren't getting exactly what they want, but they're okay. They don't mind taking a 20% hit because they knew it was totally unrealistic back in February. But
Residential, we're talking now.
residential, exactly. So the residential market really kind of peaked there, and so people are like, yeah, that was just that 1 month. But the commercial multifamily specifically for all of 2021 and some of 2020 and the beginning of 2022, they knew where those cap rates were and they've compressed down to like 2 to 3. And so now all of a sudden they're like, well, what do you mean? And you're talking about like huge percentages difference between the value of your building from a 6 million building, it could be 4.5. Like, so I'm going to take 1.5 million less because some dude at the Bank of Canada is telling everybody that this is what needs to happen. Hard pill to swallow.
Well, and then you have buildings that they've been meaning to sell for a while, or right, like the
Mm-hmm.
family's been talking about it for a while, and now they kind of missed the top of the wave, and now it's a very different environment for them to sell in. But I mean, as well as I know, like when somebody has that number in their head of what they thought that they could get, like that is a concrete number, right? And it's very hard to get that number to change while it's not getting worse,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're talking to a seller and they're like, I want 1.7, and you're like, but you're not going to get 1.7. That's like March, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, but I want 1.7. And then what do? Either walk
Residential,
away. Yeah,
residential.
residential. Either walk away from selling it or you say, okay, let's see what happens at 1.7. We'll do it your
No,
way
you tell them
first.
the truth. That's the worst thing you could do is tell them a lie, you know?
No, but you tell them the truth and they don't listen. So what do you
Well,
do?
then, but putting them in that situation, I mean, you're complicit, like you're now basically, because if the market continues to go down,
So you walk away. You're like, I think it's worth 1,550. I can't sell your house.
there's a method to that, to figure out what deals you would walk away with and which ones you wouldn't. But there's definitely ones that you have to walk away with. You have to let people know the truth, and you
But
hurting them by putting it on at the wrong price could end up costing them money. And I can tell you one thing, Darryl, from experience and everything else, a few months later, they're not going to be blaming the market.
but this is what I'm saying is like a
Yeah,
few months later, it's even worse. And you're
I know.
riding it
And they
down with
won't
them
say,
going,
man,
I
these
told you
interest rates,
so.
man, this government. They're going to say, Darryl,
Yeah. I
your
forget.
sign, I don't like the color of your sign. It's too blue. It's too blue. And I don't think people can see it at night.
TK, did you put that ad out? Did you put the ads out?
Right.
Did you send out the
Did
emails?
you call that showing? Did you call
Yeah.
that showing?
Did you call
I'm
that
like,
person back?
they're
They were
still in the
very
driveway.
lovely. They were
They just
very
left.
lovely. I spoke to them
This
for
is why my house is
hours.
not selling.
Right.
Right. And that's the thing. So you learn that and you go, okay, like I don't want to put people through that, because at the end of the day, it's like I'm hurting them. I don't want to hurt people. I want to help them. So it's like you have to be aware of those type of situations. But every
So, I
situation is
mean,
different.
most people are not like watching every YouTube video that comes out about real estate, right? Most people are not reading every article that has to do with real estate.
No.
Um, so when they come out and they're like, oh, I spoke to Francine and Francine told me that they sold for 2.2 million. And so, I figured this thing's got to be worth 2.8 million by now.
I look up
And what
Francine's
do you
property and she
mean?
sold for 1.8. I don't know where you got that from. That's
But
like
like, what do you
nine
mean
times
the
out of 10.
market's shit? Like,
Nine
really?
times out of 10, that's what happens when they come to me and they say, no, 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 my neighbor, like I heard they
Right.
got 1.3. I'm like, this neighbor?
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
that got
Sold for
800.
800,000. Like, yeah, they had it listed at 1.3 in February or March or whatever. They sold for 800. There
That
it
deal
is.
fell apart, dear.
Oh, whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
she never
whoa,
told me
whoa.
that.
Yeah. But my landscaping though, like
Fucking
I paid way more money
Francine.
for my landscaping.
Oh
Right.
my
So
God.
these are
Yeah,
all
the
the
house
things that
is
you go with. But on the commercial side, it becomes a little bit different, because the asset is generally speaking paying for all the debt. So the asset services the debt on its own, right? Like that's going to be, if you've got a mortgage on the property, then it has to, because that's the only way that you're going to get a mortgage. If you don't have a mortgage on it, well, then what are you worried about? You don't have a mortgage. So whatever income, you can be almost vacant and be okay. And that's the problem. So the motivations are a lot different. So we haven't seen that point where the commercial owners are all saying, I need to sell. And they're
we're
all
starting
banking
to.
on or gambling and saying, if I don't get my price, I'll wait for the rates to go down because I will get more money then. And they're
I,
in the position to do that. So it's a much different market on the commercial side than the residential side.
so different. It's crazy. Like I
Yeah.
have two actually deals that I have offers in on right now with families that own like share the ownership of the property, and
Yeah.
the older generation has moved on and the younger generation does not want to be partners with each other.
Yeah.
And I imagine that that will happen more and more as boomers start to either retire or die
I don't
off
know if it's
or
boomers who would be doing that. I think it'd be the
well,
older generation.
aren't they the boomers now? Isn't my parents are boomers.
Yeah, but they're still making decisions for themselves, right? Most of the time, these
Kinda.
situations would be somebody who would be in the, is that the silent generation? I don't know, but the people who are like 90 plus.
Oh, they're for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're.
yeah. And then their kids are coming into it, and it's a little bit different, right? Or they've passed.
I think
I've had a
that's
couple of
happened
those
already, no?
where they
For the
passed, and then
most part.
the kids get their shares, and that becomes an obstacle, right?
But I see it being a point of contention in negotiations where it's like one side really wants to or needs to sell, and the other side's like I'm not selling for that price. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
care, right? Like wait until the offer's better. And
Yeah.
I imagine, I mean, even in commercial, unless something crazy happens that like unlocks all this crazy potential in commercial, like I know
Yeah.
guys are hunting for deals all over the place. I don't know what's actually going through. I mean, we never really find out until much later.
Not much. Like
But I mean,
I'm
I'm seeing a
looking at
ton of deals and I'm seeing nothing.
I'm seeing no sales.
I don't even see applications really that much lately. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm just not paying attention, but like
Yeah.
normally I see updates when applications come in, and I'm not seeing
No.
applications. I don't really notice any launches lately. And I
Yeah.
mean, I know that everybody's talking
Standstill.
about trades just slowing down and their pipelines shriveling up. So like there's going to be a big gap. I just don't see this ending well anytime soon.
Mhm.
I don't see it. And they're still talking about raising rates at the head of the spear, right? Like, what are they going to raise them?
Well, what do you think?
I don't
I made a
know.
prediction,
You made a
but I'm
prediction. I made a
for the short term,
prediction. I'm changing my
December.
prediction.
I think in the next, 12 months we'll still see another 100 basis points. I mean, that's what makes sense.
Oh, TK. I hope
Yeah,
that's not what makes sense. I
it
hope
makes
what makes
sense.
sense
No, I mean
is
the
like
inflation
another.
number came back the same this last month as it did the month before. How can they justify not going up any further?
How do you cap like doctors' salaries, but you can't cap the oil companies' profit levels? It's like you're only allowed to make $1 billion a year. Okay. Like just suck it up and deal with it. Go fuck
You don't
yourselves.
think
What
they'd
is this
find another
shit?
way? They said, well, we had to pay that contractor this year,
Yeah, you can do
JM
it with
Industries,
renewables,
$6 billion
renewables.
to empty our garbage
Right.
cans. Come
Yeah.
on, they can't figure that.
There's got to be a way. Like
No,
there's
it's
got to
no
be
way.
a way.
No
You
way.
can't crush us on food and energy and be like record profits. We got to bring inflation down. So we're going to destroy the value of all your homes. Like what the fuck is going on here? Like if we kind of zoom out and look at what the hell is going on, it's like it's pretty fucking crazy and it's pretty shady. It's like really it's really crazy. It's like really shady actually the more I'm thinking about it. How do you do that?
Because it's for the greater good, Daryl.
The greater
Inflation hurts
good.
everybody. Inflation hurts everybody.
But
It
why?
doesn't
But
just
the
hurt
inflate
homeowners,
take
it hurts the most
okay.
vulnerable.
Oil companies during times of war and times of pandemic cannot make a profit on their products. Sorry, like you're
Mhm.
gonna have to survive like the rest of us and have a little flat line for a couple of years, right? Food too. Like
Mhm.
what the fuck? Not only are they making more profits, but they're like taking more market share, all these companies, and they're eating up little companies that are going out of business and they're just taking up more and they're taking up more.
It's a free economy.
Fuck, man, but it's not. It's not a free
But if it
economy. It's
wasn't, if we change that, then
manipulated.
those companies would not be around for us
Thank
to be able to have.
God. There'd be
But we
competition.
need them. We need them,
No, we
right? And the
don't. We
less
need
and the less
energy.
companies, the less competition,
I don't know.
right? So
Why
that could
aren't those
drive oil
guys
prices
building
even higher.
houses? Like, get the oil companies to build houses. You need more oil for that shit, bro. Like, but I'm serious. Like, there's a
Yeah.
big fucking problem here.
Here's a good solution then that you just brought up. Okay,
Hmm.
is a certain amount of profits from every dollar that the oil companies make must
Food
go
too.
into development of housing. So therefore, they
Food
don't
too.
lose the money. They can go and buy profitable developments, but it must create housing at the same time. So
Yeah.
if they
Well,
want to make money,
actually,
that's fine, but you also have to be developing
now
houses.
that I
What
think
could go
about
wrong?
it,
What could go
yeah,
wrong?
yeah, this can go wrong
Yeah.
because what's it called? Loblaws owns like Choice REIT, Choice Properties REIT, right? So
Yeah.
basically, every Loblaws is paying for the land underneath it, which is
Mm-hmm.
going to be redeveloped into condos and grocery stores all over the place with money, profits that were gained through this almost what do you call almost a monopoly, a
Yeah.
duopoly,
They're
tripopoly?
calling them like roll up corporations.
I
And
don't know
so,
what the fuck's going on, but like it's
but
not fair. It's crazy. We all need food. We got to eat. I don't need
mhm.
18 choices of cheese. I just need like one cheese for a reasonable price and I can just be okay with that kind of cheese, you know? I don't need 70,000 different yogurts. Like give me
Mhm.
three options for everything. Fuck
But
off.
maybe there's somebody who wants 70,000 choices of yogurts. Why is this all about Daryl?
TK, what you're
Yeah.
missing here is
Yeah.
that everything is all about Darryl. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's all about Darryl. Darryl's a common guy, right?
Mhm.
I'm just
What's
saying
good for
what
Daryl's good for everybody.
Well, maybe not always, but
Mm-hmm.
with what we're talking about right now, I think it might be. I mean, am I crazy with what I'm saying? I mean, necessities in a civilized society that cares about like its people, like those are things that maybe just should be like not profiteered on top of.
So socialists.
I don't know if it's socialist. Like, what the fuck are we? We're not capitalist, anyways. I mean,
Why not?
what?
Why not? Why are we not a capitalistic society?
In a capitalist society, like the government doesn't play as influential a role in shifting things around unnaturally, right?
Okay.
A capitalistic society can regulate itself in theory. I mean, if you make
Playing by
something
the
that
rules of
people
the
don't
game.
want, well, look, if you build a shitty product and there's something else available, like
Mhm.
you're probably not going to sell your shitty product, or you may not sell it for as much as you were hoping. You
But
may
does
not
any
sell it
company
all.
have unfair rules to follow, or is all the companies have to follow the same rule set?
I'm pretty sure that most companies don't follow the same rule sets. Like, and as you get bigger and bigger, there's more and more opportunities for you not to follow the same rule set.
But if you got bigger and bigger, then you would have less and less rules. So that becomes equal opportunity for all companies.
No, you what happens is you gain more and more money, which gives you more and more power and ability to lobby policies in your favor, right?
Freely.
Fuck TK. The system is fucked, bro. And you're a part of the
Right?
problem.
I'm the
I
biggest
can
part of the
see it.
problem ever.
People
Okay.
like you,
This shirt
TK.
right now, it's, it might
What
say enjoy something
does
on
it
it, but
say?
it's
Is it a
what it says
Coca-Cola
is
shirt?
vote liberal. No, I'm
Vote liberal. Oh my
joking.
God,
I
TK.
know.
It just
I'm just kidding.
seems like mission impossible right now. But
It
meanwhile,
does.
like it
I think
also
we're heading
feels
in the
like
right direction. I feel so positive. Like
what
I feel like
direction are we heading in? Are we in
you
another
know
bull
what?
run right now?
There are so many people out there who are spewing the negativity. And even though I'm not saying that the storm is not coming, I think there is a storm coming 100%. I can feel it in the water. But what I'm
But
telling
it's
you
not here. That's the
is it's
crazy
not
thing.
here, but there's
How's
something
it
that's
not
brewing
here yet?
underneath. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a good thing. It's a very positive thing to happen to
Mhm,
all of us. I was
mhm.
talking to somebody today. I was talking to a lady, and she bought an assignment. I think she's trying to assign an assignment. So she bought it already, and now she wants to assign it.
Brilliant.
She can't. And she can't. It's not working out well for her.
Really?
And
Shocking.
so I know that there was no way out for her. And so again, I've had a few of these calls. So I gave her the advice. She bought one unit somewhere in Toronto. And I told her, I said that, what's going to come of this? I said, this is going to be a very positive experience for you. Okay. Because it means that you're going to make better and more sound investments in the future because you know that not everything is always going to work out the way that the real estate agent or the investment planner or anything else told you that it would, right? And that you
Mhm.
need to be able to be a little bit more conservative and to be making,
Cautious.
more conservative investments and more cautious decisions, right? And that
But is
was
that
some of
what
the silver
happens?
the silver lining in it, right? Is like she's going to lose some money most likely, unless the market turns around and she closes it, and a couple of years from now she gets herself out under a huge amount of pressure, carrying probably high interest loans and stuff like that. But you have to look at the positive, Daryl. And I think that
Airbnb?
this market is going to be a very positive market for a lot of people, especially my generation. Anybody who's in their 20s or 30s who has never really had any hardship whatsoever, and now they get to start off with something as critical as this. Like that is like 40 years of life lessons that you can't buy. You
Hmm.
can't buy. And debt is a horrible, horrible thing to be, carrying around, especially personal debt. And I think that too many people are comfortable with it, and they need to stop being so comfortable.
Sure, it's comfortable when it's cheap and it
Yeah.
falls in to
I need a
your
car.
income,
Just
right?
go and get a loan. They're gonna give me 7 years financing, no money down. I need a TV. I'm just gonna go and get a brick card and buy a T. All that stuff is garbage. Makes no sense. I love, you know what I love? There's a there's a meme, and it's a Chinese guy, and he said something about like someone makes a joke about, oh no. He's pretending like he's American. And so he kind of like he does some stuff and then he starts talking very American. And then the butt of the joke is like, I'm gonna go and buy some stuff on credit cards, like that kind of stuff, right? And Why? Because the culture over there has got a different opinion on credit cards. We need to bring that into Western culture. Like there should be people who are carrying less debt. You shouldn't have, the interest rates shouldn't be a major concern for you. This shouldn't be, oh my gosh, my life is going to end because I have to service the debt at a way higher rate than I should have. You should
Oh
be
my
saying,
God.
hey, no problem. I've got an option to pay off my debt, or the
Just
debt that I have
imagine.
is serviceable at any rate.
Imagine people that were like carrying credit card debt and it was like 18, 19%. And it was like, I'm going to catch up. Eventually, I'm going to catch up. I'm going to catch
Mm-hmm.
up. It's just a matter of time. I'm going to catch up.
And if
And
you're,
then rates went up to, I don't even know. What is it on a credit card nowadays?
but if you're on a
You can check.
fixed income, it's a different story. There are situations where
If you work
you
by
have a
the hour,
windfall or
bro.
whatever.
No,
Yeah,
but
but if
if
you
you
work in a
work by
fixed
the hour,
income,
you're on a fixed income.
you were waiting to refinance your house in a few years, right? And that's what the plan was. And I'll just refinance and I'll just refinance. And eventually you refinance your way into, unmanageability. And if the market changes,
Yeah.
now you've got, because you got that 80% loan to value at like, this great price at the peak of the market. Well, now you lost that 20% equity. Now you're servicing a debt. You're underwater.
Hey, TK, how many jobs you holding these days, buddy? What do you? I got 8 jobs so far.
Oh,
I
that
got eight
reminds me.
jobs.
Remember
How
what
much
Tom was
sleep
sharing?
you getting these days?
What Tom was sharing with us about the daughter, the wholesome story when she asked her dad about the house, and he said I'd have to get 3 jobs to buy that house.
Right.
That's the truth, right?
But this is what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
how many jobs you holding down, bro? How many side hustles do you have? Do you have
As
a
as
side
many
hustle to the
as I can
side
fit in.
hustle?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm on
But this is
only
the
I'm
thing.
on OnlyFans now.
I'm gonna go on OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm on OnlyFans now. I'm trying to just find people to, you know, um, subscribe to my channel.
If only you had some
I'm
fans.
joking. Joking. But these are all the things, right? These are all the realities of
Go to
of
OnlyFans so you can find out why they call him the armbar
of
realtor.
of the market. There's a jiu-jitsu guy on OnlyFans actually. He's funny.
For
Craig Jones.
sure.
Check him out.
Check them out. Well, TK, I don't know if we
Yeah.
came to the end of the episode, but we should definitely
Well, what
make a
about a word
final
from our
point.
sponsors?
Yeah, we probably heard a couple by now at this
Yeah.
point. I would have
Well, we should do the last
inserted it.
sponsor right now, just because it's important. It's
It's
near the
fair.
end. The people who are still here are listening, and then we'll
Now I
share
have
something
to,
special with them after the commercial.
let's do it. Boom.
Welcome to the Urban Toronto Pro monthly report. I'm economist Ash Nababi. In this month's report, developers proposed 11.23 million square feet of gross floor area in 26 new applications to the City of Toronto in September of 2022. This represents a 130% increase in gross floor area over the same period last year. Developers also proposed 13,000 new units, which is nearly twice as many as the average for this year, at 781 square feet of residential GFA per dwelling unit. This represents the third highest such proposal for the year. This increase in development applications was in stark contrast with other news about the fall in transactions and prices of new home sales in the Toronto area. For a complete breakdown of these numbers and figures, as well as up-to-date news about development applications in the GTA, visit urbantoronto.ca.
That was
All
good,
right,
right? You
we're
like that
back. Yeah,
little,
that was
little,
good.
yeah.
Well done. Now I got to
All
find
right.
that spot and
So,
put it there.
guys, December 1st, Looney Hour. Please leave your comment. Funniest comment wins. Maybe that might happen. But more entries, the better. Unlimited amount of entries. Next week, Steve Soretsky will be giving away the ticket. And we're looking forward to having someone join us on December 1st at the Hockey Hall of Fame.
TK, we forgot about the guest again this week.
I know. I think we did it on purpose this week.
Think
We
so
actually
too.
did it last week on purpose too. But
I re-
we've
I
got
re-
some great guests. We've got some great guests lined up, and right now it's just about keeping people informed. I think we covered all the topics today that were really important. Was there any topics that we didn't cover that we wanted to?
Well, the green belt we don't have to cover now, but I've been talking to a journalist who's been working on an expose for like a major publication that
Ooh,
has been
this is
exposing who owns
people.
these properties, and he's
Yeah.
willing to come on the show. So we're gonna maybe have a special
Oh, that's
episode,
a really good one, Daryl. Way to go.
dig up a
Hey,
little dirt, make a couple
yeah,
enemies out there, a couple more
absolutely.
enemies
Well, no one watches the show anyways. The least likely of people would be any
at this
politicians.
point, anyways, for
Yeah.
sure. Well,
That's
TK,
that's good. So no green belt talk.
I mean, we can, but
Yellow belt or anything else like that. We started a few minutes late, so we can.
Yeah.
Yellow,
I don't know.
yellow
There's
belt.
people a little ticked off about the powerful mayor rules or whatever they're calling it. He-Man power rules, or what are they calling
The
it? Superpower
ministerial
rules?
zoning order.
No, hold on a sec.
Oh, with the plan. I know what you're saying. How the
Yeah.
mayor can override any of the
Yeah, what the hell is
council
this thing
decisions.
called here? Unprecedented powers, blah 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 blah. Anyways, he's like a superhero now. He can say, "Hey, if he has a third of the votes in council, then he can say that one's going through, baby." Or not 13, a third. It used to be
A third.
13, I guess, out of 25, which would be more than half,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
So special powers for mayors. People seem to be a little upset. They think that maybe the mayor will do favors for friends.
Good. The people that he knows, likes, and trusts. That's the people that should be doing it, not
Yeah.
like people who are like criminal and we're going to let people down. Like, look how many developers cancel projects. I guarantee
Mhm.
you, any one of the mayor's friends who
Are you
gets a
saying that they're criminals?
no, those are two unrelated sentences.
Huh.
But what I'm saying is the people who cancel projects, right, who don't have the experience or capabilities of actually following through, right, and doing what they've
Well,
promised.
but we see guys that actually have that capability cancel projects too. But go
what's
ahead.
more likely?
Sure.
Yeah. So the people who do get these special permissions from the mayor won't be the people because they'll be well resourced and their plan will be sound and those cancellations won't happen, which means that we're actually going to get housing from it, which is good for everybody. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
was that
Well,
like enough of an answer or no?
Yeah, it's good enough. We'll
You
leave it
you
at
you
that.
don't think it's a good thing? You're on the other
I'm
side?
not saying that it's not a good thing. I'm saying
Okay.
that like it was probably a little bit too obvious, like why that particular or those particular parcels were chosen, right? And I don't think it's because those were maybe the best pieces to release for the public, but I guess it doesn't matter because
They got to choose somewhere.
enough people think that like you, enough
Yeah.
people think that like who
Enough people
cares?
think like me and that it's,
Sure.
you know what, it's going to get done. Let's go with the guys that we know, like, and trust. Like, let's not mess around because you can give it to, think about it. There's landowners right now. I had a call from somebody this week who owned a piece of land that was on the map and they were like, oh, I'm so excited and all that kind of stuff. And they don't know the first thing about development. They're going to probably screw it up. They don't know what they're doing.
Sure,
And so
if
you
it
give it to
sticks
the
to
wrong
those,
person. He's like, he's going to say like, oh, geez. And then sells it to someone who shouldn't or tries to develop and then nothing happens. But if you're like,
we're
okay,
gonna
John, who's been supporting my campaign since I got into office, who's owned that land now for 20 years, and it's strategically placed because of all the services that are nearby, and that
just
they
so
know that
happens
that's
a go station will be on his property
well, that's
now.
the fastest way for us to get housing because this has been in the works behind some closed doors. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. All I'm saying is those are the people that I would be choosing.
I don't tend to disagree with you, but what I do believe will happen is that some people that may or may not be as capable or as friendly with the mayor will I can imagine get like thinking, how did they get that? Who are they?
Yeah, I don't think that would be. I don't think anybody would do that. I think that
I,
if it was in the best interest of the community, that will be the decision that is made. But if there is some like, do I go with A? Do I go with B? They're going to go with the people that they know, like, and trust because it's better for their constituents and the population. That's my opinion.
it will be impossible for me to pierce this wall of yours, TK. And this is why you are the rebuttal king.
Good. We're on a roll.
We are on a roll, baby.
Yeah.
TK,
It's been a blast.
it has been a blast. Your optimism is always refreshing.
It's a good time to be optimistic, Darryl. There's lots of good things to be excited about, and life is good. We live in a beautiful country. We've got plenty of resources. Lettuce is coming back to a shelf in the grocery store near you. Okay,
$8.99 ahead. $8.99.
But it's going to be there if you want
lettuce.
lettuce.
It'll be good.
It's going to be there, and you can even get the organic stuff if you want.
TK, we've said it all.
I think
we've done it all. We've said it all. And surprisingly, we came up with the same amount of solutions as we always do.
Till next time.
Till next time.